Hello everyone, FSG here, hope you're all doing well today. We are back to have another in-depth look at Autodrive, and today we're going to focus on the different types of routes that you can have in Autodrive. So in my original video we did some single direction routes, the green routes that you tend to see a lot of. Today we're going to have a look at them again, but we're also going to look at two-way routes, and we're also going to have a look at side routes and how you can use those to help map your courses out, and there's a few other tips in there as well, but in essence we'll give you a little bit of a guide for how you can really start to build out some really nice courses on your maps should you want to. So without further ado, I have stripped out these three fields here on the starter farm and just made us a big concrete pad to drive around on, and then hopefully the contrast will allow us to show you the different routes very clearly as we build them out. We've got a couple of tractors here, as I'm going to demonstrate as well with two-way routes, how one tractor will hopefully wait for another one if it's already on the route and things like that. But let's jump into it. First and foremost, what we're going to do is we're going to run a route around the outside of here, a single direction route, so that we can just demonstrate how this works. So first and foremost, we're going to roll this into a spot like this. A few tips from me based on using this a few times. Basically, when you load up the interface, and I have doubled the size of it here so you can see things a little bit clearer, and I don't have to do it in the edit afterwards, I always put my line height above the tractor rather than on the ground. It just makes it a little bit easier to control and move things about when you are dealing with it. So that's how I like to do it. I also like to turn off Show Next Path when I'm playing. For the purposes of this, I'm going to leave it on because it's a bit of a tutorial, but bear in mind you can turn that off and then you won't get a weird white arrow pointing the way to go as your tractor drives around. So bear that in mind. So we'll just apply and hit that. Now, if you remember from last time, to access your edit mode, you hit the little warning triangle down here in the right-hand corner. So we'll do that, and it brings up a few other features here. So we'll just go through these again to help you out, so you know what to do. So to record, if I press record now, you'll see we get a marker above our tractor, and if I roll forward, it will automatically add another one and add another one. If we go a little bit further, there we go. Now if I stop recording here, you can also see we have this red line attached to the red ball at the top there, and as I move closer to another point, at the point you get that ball closer, it will jump to that one. And the reason for doing that is means you can then highlight the mark that you want to give a name to. So for the purposes of this video, we'll call it Target 1, the OK button, and as you can see, it's attached it to the one that is linked to our tractor. If we roll back a little bit further here, we could put another one here and call it Target 2, and it would add it to the next one, like so. You can also edit these as well with the same button. So if I press here, you can now edit target. Let's call that Target 120. Click rename, and it will rename it. And again, you can go in here and you can delete the target without deleting the node as well. So if I do this, you can see the name has disappeared. Let's roll forward to this one as well. If we click on here and delete, the name has disappeared as well. Now you can also delete individual markers. That is using this button here, and again it's linked to the one that is attached to the node that you're on. So if I click on this now, it removes that node, and we have two separate nodes here. Now if you want to reconnect these, you can always click on the first one and click on the second one, and you'll see there we've got the directional arrow joining the two of them together. The other option, if you don't want to use that button all the time as well, is you can hold the Alt button down and click your left mouse button. You can also add additional nodes by pressing the Control button down and clicking. So as you can see there, we are adding more in. Now you do have to connect these up if you want to, like so, and again remember, if you hold your right mouse button down, if you are over a node and you know you're over the node because it turns blue, you can then move these about by pressing and holding your right mouse button, so you can get those aligned like so. So there you go, a little bit of a help with some of the basic editing premise with Autodrive. So we're going to just delete these, and again you see I'm using the button in the HUD here, and it always deletes the one closest to you and then moves to the further away ones. So there you go, that is adding and removing nodes. Now let's move on. Let's just turn off that for a second. Let's move on to the other thing that I'm going to show you in a little while, and that is two-way courses. So everything the same as we've just done for a single-way course, but instead of hitting your left mouse button, you're now going to hit your right mouse button. And as you can see there, we have got a purple circle now and an arrow going in each direction. So if I drive forward now, you'll see that the line is blue and there is no arrows on it. So basically this means you have a multi-directional course, so the tractor can drive this way on it, or if it turned round it could drive the other direction as well. All the same things apply in terms of deleting, moving, naming targets, etc., like I've just showed you, but it would be on a two-way course, so the tractor could approach it from either direction. Now the third type of course that we've talked about already is side routes. Now to create a side route, you basically want to hit record again, but this time instead of holding your right mouse button down, you're going to hold down shift and you're going to click your left mouse button again, and what you'll get is a one-way route, but it is in yellow, as you can see there. So there you go, that is a side route, and we'll come back to those in a little while and explain the difference between those and the other routes. Now, as you did with green for directional routes and blue for multi-directional routes, as you can see that side route has arrows on it, so it is a one-way route. Let me just spin around there, you can just see the arrow there pointing the direction the tractor will go in. If you hold shift down and right click this time over your record button and we drive forward now, you will see we have a slightly darker yellow line, dare I say an orange line. That is a multi-directional side road as well. So you can do multi-directional side routes as well as single direction side routes. So now you know how to create those three different variants of the courses. I'm going to clear all this and we're going to set up a little course and I'll show you the differences. Right, tractor in position now. First and foremost, we are going to do a standard route and we're going to add a couple of target points into it. So we're going to go down here, we're going to turn, we're going to go down here, we're going to do a little loop, and we're going to stop somewhere like this, and at this point we're going to add in a point. We're going to give it a target name. Let's call it point A. Very creative. But then we're going to carry on driving. We're going to join close up to our other course here. So again, we are going back the way we've come here. So if you're on the outside lane, you will be going one direction. If you're on the inside lane, you're going to be going in a different direction. And we're going to go a little bit further down here. Avoid the deer, and we will do something down this side as well, opposite the other one. We'll call this point A. So there we go, we'll just spin around here. So we will stop here, press your middle mouse button to bring up your pointer so you can click on the buttons, but let's call this point B. Now we're going to roll forward again. I'm going to line these up, and there's a reason I'm putting these next to each other, because similar to a two-way road, that's the way I'm setting up here. We'll obviously demonstrate this on the map proper in a little while, but for now we're just trying to get our head around the basics. So there we go, we are going to get to as close as we can to our other point. I have currently got it set to not close the loops when I get, it gives me a little bit more flexibility, but there we go, we're going to click on there, we're going to click on there, and we have got a course, we can go from one point to the other as we see fit. We'll just use the drop down. Let's go to point A. Let's remember to turn our record off so it doesn't draw any nodes while we're doing it. And I will click on activate, and this will take us to point A. There we go, round the course. As you can see, it was going quite speedily round the corners there, so you want to bear that in mind as well. Slightly tighter turn here, he has to slow down, but as he's getting to the point, he will stop and give you that notification, which is great. Let me just move this over to the other side now. So we have our route now that goes from point A to point B, but what we're going to do now is we're going to put in a multi-directional route. So we're going to start here, and we are going to, first and foremost, just check our settings, because in here, what we want to make sure that we do in our Autodrive settings, so in this third button down on the left-hand side in the nav, Auto Connect Start and End, I want these both to be on No. Again, I want to be able to control that, so we'll apply that. So what will happen now is when I create my first node here, it won't connect it to the nearest node that already exists, so that's important. So what we're going to do here now, we're going to right-click, because we're going to create a two-way course here, because I want to demonstrate something. There we go. So now we can drive all the way down here, like so, till we get to about here. There we go. Now we're going to stop recording there. So we've got, in essence, a two-way route. If this was connected now, the tractor could go either way down this route. Unlike the green ones, where it would obviously always only go the way that the arrow is pointing. So this road will take us down to the right, and the farthest away road would send us left. So we want to connect these up. So what we're going to do, once we get to this point, we're going to click on here, and we're going to hover over here, but we're not going to click on it. What we're going to do is use our scroll wheel, our third button, or our scroll wheel in the middle of our mouse here, and we're going to scroll around like that to create this nice curve. I'm going to click go. There we go. So you can see that is a single direction route, because it's only going to go to the same direction that the actual course is going behind it. Now, we also want to click on this again, so let's click on our two-way route, and we want this to go to the other side, so it wants to go up to here. Now that node is a little bit too close. That one's probably a little bit further away, so I'm going to right-click and move this back slightly so it's in a better position. And we're going to click here again. Remember, mouse over this node, but don't click, and then use your scroll wheel to create your turn. Now, once you're happy, click on it, and there you have created a nice junction. So the tractor will arrive at this point, and it will either go to the left if you're sending it to point A over there, or if you sent it to point B, it will go right and down to there. Now, we also want to do this the other direction. So, for example, if we're coming from this point behind us, we want to be able to turn and go down the route we've just come from. So, we're going to click on here again. We're going to click on the point, the first point of the two-way course. And again, mouse over here, not click. Ignore me when I said click. And we're going to use our scroll wheel again, which will create our turn into our two-way route. So now, if we're coming from point B, we can turn down here and go down the blue path. So the reason for this is Autodrive will always by default try and find the quickest route to get there, and this is what I'm trying to demonstrate here. Once this is done, it will avoid that run at the top completely, because it will go down the blue route instead. So let's just finish this. Let's put our other route in. And we've said this before, and I know it's been discussed a number of times by a number of content creators who've done Autodrive stuff. But the best piece of advice, I think we all wholeheartedly agree on this, is that you treat Autodrive a little bit like a railway track. So as you can see here, this is like a point system on a railway track. Let's click on here. Let's click on our first, not click, excuse my language, hover over our first two-way directional point and do our mouse scroll wheel to create that nice curve. Once we're happy, we click, and there you go. You've got a nice route there. As you can see, if I can get the camera angle right, from each direction you can nicely turn in and go along that route. We're going to set it up the same at the other side as well. I'll let you watch so you can see it. And then we will do a little test and I'll demonstrate how it works. So again, we get to this point. We know this is our course going down to the right and our course over here going to the left. So on this point we want to click here and probably, in fact, let's move this node a little bit to make a nicer turn. There we go. Hover over, mouse scroll wheel, click when you're happy. Again, click here. I'm going to go to that one. Mouse, hover over with your mouse scroll wheel. There we go. And then again from this side. Now remember, we haven't got record on here, so we're not drawing any additional nodes by moving the tractor. We're just manipulating the ones we've already got. So again, click here on your first two-way node here, mouse scroll wheel, click when you're happy, and then finally we want to be able to turn down into this route as well from here. So this one, mouse over, scroll wheel, click when you're happy, and done. So there we go, we are done completely here. So at this point, what I'm going to do very quickly, turn around to here again, look for our red line there. So when we switch this course on, depending on where we're going to send it to point A. It's going to use that as its first reference node before it heads off. So let's turn that on. We're going to send it to point A, and it will slowly bring himself onto the course. He'll drive around here and he will stop. But at this point, we're going to send him to point B. So let's send him on his merry way here. There we go. He's going to go around here. Now, rather than driving up around the green course at the top, he will take the quickest route to the next point. So you can see he's used the two-way route now to get to point B. And again, if we switch this back to point A, once he arrives here, change it back to point A, and send him off on his merry way, he will go all the way back to point A, and he will use that two-way route on the way. So there we go. Goes around here. Limps back on. Now what I want to do here, you'll see that he's going quite quickly around those corners. I'm going to drop this. I usually find something around 70-75% is good for corner speed. That is using your vehicle settings and Autodrive at the top there. So let's apply that as well. But he is back at point A. Now I'm quickly going to jump into our second tractor here. I'm going to send this guy to point B. There we go. Now what we're going to do is a little test here, because one of the things with a two-way course, and Autodrive is quite clever for this, is that it will wait. If there's a tractor already in the path, it will wait for it to come out before it drives in, or it should do. I'm making a very bold claim there, but nothing like doing a demo without checking it first. So here we go. We're going to send this tractor to point A. We're going to send the red tractor to point B. So we'll send this one off. We'll tab to here. We'll quickly go to point B and send him off as well. Now, because we started this one after the New Holland over there, the red tractor's going to get to this point. And look, he's recognised that there is a tractor in the two-way route. So he's going to let him go first before he goes down there. So that's one of the nice touches with a two-way route So there we go. He's off to point B. We've swapped them over. One is at point A. And our case is about to arrive down here at point B. So we've got a very nice functioning course here. Now, of course, if you put another target on the green path at the top and sent them, they would avoid the blue course and they would go along the green course at the top. So it's not always going to use that blue course if you have additional targets on here. So in fact, let's just do that to demonstrate it. So let's drive to here. Put the brakes on. Let's call this farm, shall we? So again, clicking on our target here. Farm. So we now have a point here at which the tractors can drive to if they want to. But if they are only going between point A and point B, they will use the blue course here. Now, I want to show you what happens if you add in a side road. So, for example, let's do this. What we're going to do is hold shift down now, and we're going to click right click because we want a two-way side route in this instance. We're going to go down here and we are going to go all the way down to here. Right, now we are at this point. What we want to do is just put one node in. So a standard node there. So what we want to do when we connect this one to this one, let's make sure it's two-way. When we click this and take it over to here, you will get a green route. So again, mouse over and do that, and click, you will get a green route. So let's do that for all of these points now. So we can create our little route. Again, over here, do our turn in. And likewise from here to here. Oh, I didn't mouse over it and scroll. You see very quickly you can get distracted. So click and scroll, and there you go. Of course. So we have an exit and entrance at this end for our side route. So let's go and do that at the other end as well. And what we'll do as we go down the middle here, we'll just stop here and we will give this a name as well. Let's call it side route. There we go. So let's go and set up our turns at this end. Again, as we did the other side, a single node like so. We can connect that up, make it multi-directional again, so it's the same as the other one. And again, we just connect up all of our routes. So click, mouse over, scroll wheel, and click. Get my course right here. Make sure I get the right one. There we go. Click. Mouse over. Sorry. Click. Mouse over. Scroll wheel. Click. And then coming back in. Click. Mouse over. Scroll wheel. Click. And coming from this side. Click. Mouse over. Scroll wheel. And click again. So, there we have a side route with entrances in and out, and our two-way route with entrances in and out. Right now we're happy with everything. We're going to send this guy to point B. So he will turn off here. Now I want to demonstrate quickly. If we want him to go back to side route, he will roll round to point B for starters. And then, if we select side route, send him on his way, he will go down the path to side route. We hope. Yes, there we go, because he wants to get to that node. Now, that is obviously the shortest route to point A as well and point B. So look what happens if we send New Holland to point B. You would expect him to take the side route, the shortest route down there, but he won't. Because it's only a side route, it ignores it, unless you want somebody to go on that path to an element that is in that field. It will ignore it completely, and look, you will take advantage of the two-way route, like so. So side routes are very handy if you've got fields you want to send things to, but for example, I don't know, you've got an articulated lorry or something that, or a truck that you don't want to go down that route and want to stick to the main highways. You can use your green routes and your blue routes on the main highways, but keep your side roads for your around the farm and your fields. It's entirely up to you, but you have got those three options available to you. So, really great to kind of delve into these a little bit more. There's a lot more to this in terms of you can change directions and change routes and things like that. Too much for one video. I think we'll probably be over 30 minutes on this one as it is. So I think we'll stop here, but hopefully that's given you a little bit of an idea of how to build up your courses and create your routes in a methodical and logical way. So why don't you give this a go? If you've got any questions, let me know in the comments, and we can adapt those and come up with future videos as well. But for now, that is how you use different routes and different courses using Autodrive. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon. Take care. Bye for now.